everyone. It is day 2. All right, I'm just tagging everybody here. Hang on, I got to make sure I get this done right. Okay, there we go. All right. First, before we even go any further, do you have the workbook? The link is up above. Have the workbook, okay? I think I said this on the last video as well. If it's going to take you a whole bunch of time to get it printed and you're going to leave us and not be able to come back, you can just have blank paper, okay? Blank paper. Markers would be better than pens, but I'm a little biased. So make sure you either have the workbook printed or digital if you can write on it, or blank paper and pens, okay? You're going to need it. Glitter pens would be super fun as well, but I would think markers. Okay. How many of you went live? So day 1 on Tuesday, you learned a little bit of information around making eye contact, right? For those of you that were VIP, you also learned a little bit about camera angles and how important that is. Did you go live? This is not judgment. Yes or no, either is an acceptable answer. I just want to know who did and who didn't, because I got follow-up questions for you. And Otis is very, very excited. I don't know if you can hear that. Sometimes my microphone cut some of that out. Okay. I am seeing yes. Awesome. I'm so proud of you. All right. So come in here. It's going to be one of those days. Okay. Here's my next question. For those of you that said yes, was it difficult to get to 3 minutes? Was it hard to hit the 3-minute mark? Okay. If you have not yet gone live, again, no judgment. It's totally okay if you haven't done it yet, but I want to know what got in your way or what is getting in your way. And if it's just time and you haven't watched the video and you haven't made time for it, that's a no. That's okay. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help. So if you've not yet gone live and there's something getting in your way, something stopping you from going live, I want to help, because I want you to be successful at this challenge. Okay. So there's a post in the group where you can share that. If you're uncomfortable sharing it, I want you to message me, because I want to help you get over whatever obstacles getting in your way. Okay. So for those of you that did go live, was it hard to hit 3 minutes? Okay. So some of you are just now catching up. Awesome. I love it. Just time. No, it wasn't hard to get to 3 minutes. Awesome. I went live and didn't see how many minutes it was. I love it, Jackie. Okay. Oh, y'all are cracking me up. Okay. Here's what typically I find is if you are just going live and you're saying, hi, I'm Jamie. Here's what I do. And here's my fun fact. It can be hard to stretch that into 3 minutes. So what you're going to learn today is we're going to get into hook, story, call to action. We're specifically going to focus on this guy, the story part, because oftentimes that's what's missing from your video to get it to that time frame. But more importantly than that, it's what keeps people watching. Okay. So on Tuesday, or whenever you watch the day 1 video, what you learned is that this 3-step model, hook, story, call to action, the hook grabs people's attention and gets them to want to watch your video. We're going to talk about that next week. The story keeps them watching. It keeps their attention. So if you ever notice that if you're live and you get a bunch of people on and you see the little eyeball and it's got numbers and then people leave, that just means that you are not compelling enough in your video. You're not doing enough in your video to keep people wanting to watch. And the story of hook, story, call to action is often the thing that's missing. Okay. The other thing that is super cool here is the answer to this question. I noticed a lot of you when you joined the group, and there's that question about what is your biggest challenge with video. A lot of you say something along the lines of, I don't know what to talk about. I have no idea what to talk about. This is your answer. Okay, we're going to get more into that as well, I promise. So I just need you to trust me at this point that we're going to accomplish both of them. Okay. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's just go there. Let's talk about this. If you've ever wondered, who has ever wondered this? Have you ever sat there and been like, okay, I know I need to go live, but I just really don't even know what to even talk about. Like, what would I even cover? Nobody wants to hear from me. What would I even share? Yes. How many of you feel have at some point in your life felt that way? Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's see here. I love all your comments. You all crack me up so much. This is why community is so freaking awesome. It's so awesome to just connect with people, and we have so many things in common. I just love it. Okay. I love it. Okay, so some of you are, I want to come back to this. I'm going to make a note because some of you are saying keeping it to 3 minutes is the problem. Keeping it to 3 minutes. Okay, remember, all we're trying to do, that 3 minute reducing down, is for the challenge only. Okay, you can talk as long as you want, but I will say this. If you tend to go all over the place, are you being most effective with your videos as you possibly can? So that may be something to look at, right? Because how busy is your audience? You're a perfect person. Do they have time to sit and go through a long video with you, or do they want shorter videos? It's something you got to consider. Okay. Okay. So back to this question. What the heck do I talk about? Yes. I feel I am there all the time. Danny says, I feel like I have so much to share, but I don't know where to start. Okay. Here's where you start. You start by telling stories. It's going to be compelling. It's going to be educational. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to help you stretch that time. Okay. It also helps you find unlimited inspiration for live videos. Let me say that again. You're about to learn how to figure out an unlimited way to find topics to go live. Now, I have a freebie. If anybody wants it, I'm happy to send it to you. It's like 100 go live topic prompts. If that's something you want, just drop a link or drop in the comments. Just say 100 go live topics. That's a lot to type. I don't want you to type out. Just say 100 topics and I'll send it to you. Okay. But here's the deal. That's only 100. Now that stretches you pretty far, but I want you to understand how to find an unlimited amount of ideas to go live on. What do you think about that? Okay. So are you currently posting on social media? Are you currently posting on social media? You have some sort of content strategy. Okay, maybe some of you, it's just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping what sticks, but you're still posting something, right? If you're not posting something, we need to fix that. But number two, you are consuming content, right? You're sitting on your phone scrolling and seeing everybody else's comments and commenting and being inspired by different things. Yes, of course you are. Okay, so what I want you to understand is every single post that you either do or see can inspire you to go live. All you have to do is tell a story. Now, if the word story makes you all, okay, you can think of it as this: explain, elaborate, or give examples. It doesn't have to be storytelling, although storytelling is very, very effective. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Okay, so how the heck do you do this? How do you let all of these other post ideas inspire you to go live? You add a story to whatever it is that is inspiring you. What about that post spoke to you or speaks to your audience? And what story or elaboration or example or whatever else can you share to talk more about it? We're going to do some examples here in a little bit. Okay. Here's a question for you. Why are stories so powerful? Why are stories so powerful? Think about all of the places that you get stories. TV, movies, books, podcasts, around the dinner table, in carpool. All of those are places where we get and hear stories. But why do we love them so much? Why do we binge watch your favorite shows? What is it about the story that is so compelling? All right, I'm going to go to comments. I'm going to see what you say. Oh my gosh, a lot of you want the 100 topics. Ooh, awesome. Okay, I'll get that out to you later today. Okay, let's see here. There were two. I got to remember to write this down. Hold on. While you're all typing, if I don't write these down, I'm going to forget coming back to the question. There was somebody that's, okay, where to start was a question that Danny had. And then there was another question. Hold on here. Let's concise, short. Okay, I got it. We'll come back to that at the end. I always try to give you what you're here for first. What you're here for is to learn how to tell stories. And then I always stay on afterwards and answer any questions. So I just jotted those notes down so that I didn't lose them. Okay. Let's see what you all say here. Hold on, I scroll. This is such a pain in the rear, isn't it? Any of you that regularly go live and you have to use your phone to check your comments, you know what I'm talking about. So frustrating. Okay. Okay. Oh, I love that Erin did the content pillar training. If you have not done my content pillar training, it's so good. It's a 2-part training. If you want it, just write content pillars in the comments and I will send it over to you. It's 2 videos. They're both longer. There's workbooks, but it is all about how you figure out what the heck do you talk about that's relative to you. So good. And by the way, for those of you that have already done the content pillars, next month, we're going to do a Zoom call where I'm going to help and answer any questions that you have. So watch for communications around that. And there's just another reason for those of you that haven't watched to go watch it. You got time. Okay. Yes to posting. I consume more than I post. Isn't that the truth? Okay, here you go. Why are stories so powerful? Erin says stories make something real or relatable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Christine says our mind is triggered to listen. Yeah, we go, oh, because we relate to that, or it's interesting or fascinating. We want to know what's going on, right? Okay, Erin says stories can engage a number of different senses. Isn't that so true? Great storytelling. Like, have you ever I just did this. I watched one of my shows last night, and it was an episode I was dreading because I knew my favorite character was being killed off, and I didn't want to just cry. And so I was like, oh, it's a whole thing. But here I am bawling because I can feel that emotion. It is. You're so right. Okay. Denise says to tell the journey. Yes. And also that it's relatable. It's like sequential, right? We want to know what happens next. That's why cliffhangers are so valuable. I got to watch the next episode. I've got to read the next chapter. Well, you want that in your videos. You want your audience to be like, when is her next video? I want another one of her videos. Okay. Okay. Emmy says they keep our interest and we want to know the end. We want to know what happens, right? Yes. Okay. The store, I don't know how to say your name. Garav, I'm so sorry. I want to say it right. And I know I'm not doing it right. Okay. He says my story might connect with others. Yes. There's a connection point, right? Oh my gosh, we're alike. We have had the same experience. It's also relatable or connection in terms of understanding topics. So if you're teaching me something new, something I've not experienced, and you tell me a story or use an analogy, now I can understand and connect the meaning behind it. And it helps me understand the story. So good. So good. So good. So good. Okay. Everybody wants the content pillars. You got it. You got it. You got it. Okay. So you understand now why stories are so powerful. Now you have to tell stories. So how do we get started? So in your workbook, there is a sheet that looks like this guy. I call them POW bubbles. Okay. Have this handy. If you don't have the workbook printed, it's okay. I want you to get markers or a pen, pencil, whatever you got, right? I'm going to use markers so that you can see. And we're going to POW bubble. This is just simply a brainstorming activity. Okay. You can use this in so many different ways. Some of you are going to love it. If you are not somebody who is very visual and very creative, you can just do this in an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be this way. Okay. But what you're going to start with is something in the middle that inspires. And then you're going to pow, 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 pow. You like my sound effects? Yeah. And each of these becomes a POW bubble. Okay. So what's going to happen here is in the center, this is where the post that you either did or saw that inspires you, that goes in the center. And then you are going to POW bubble and brainstorm what possible stories can I tell about that post? How do I elaborate, explain, give examples? What stories can I tell? Okay. Now, here's what's really cool. No, we're going to do it first. I just saw the comment about pow, 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 pow. You like that? Oh, I'm in a mood. We had we had a Go Live League, which is my monthly membership. We had a Go Live League call right before this, and they had me laughing, or maybe I had them laughing. So I'm in a good mood. I'm in one of those moods. I don't know why I grabbed it from marker. Okay, so let's pick something that inspires us. I'm going to pick this. Look, okay, this was a post I did. When did I do this? Yeah, I think maybe you saw this of my "I went live and I didn't die" T-shirt. Okay, so. And it got, oh, I cut it off there. I think it got 25 comments, this post. So that tells me that this is something that my audience valued. Something about this post made them go, yeah, enough to comment, right? Not just like or love, but comment. So that's an indicator that there's something valuable there. So I'm going to use this as a POW bubble, and I'm going to put that in the center. So I might put T-shirt. And more than that, it's the message of it, right? Went live, didn't die. Okay. Now, I guess you don't need to keep seeing that. Okay. Now, what stories could I tell from this? What does this whole idea inspire me to talk about? Okay. I could talk about, hold on here. The other day I was dropping marker lids like crazy and it was out of control. Okay. So first of all, the easy story I could tell is, how do you buy this T-shirt? Who wants one, right? So I could tell the story about, maybe not even buy the T-shirt, because that's not a very good story. How did Sherry and I create these T-shirts? Okay, that's a story I could tell. But how we decided to, what would the message be? What was the layout going to be like? What color are we going to put it on? There's a story behind that. Okay. I could also talk about where that message, "I didn't die," comes from, right? So this is a client story where a client said, "And I didn't die." Okay. There's a whole, we could even go into the whole, what is the name of that movie? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Hangover, the Hangover movies, right? Okay. So maybe that could even be another POW bubble. What inspired this T-shirt? Okay. So client story. I could tell my own story. My story of the first time I ever went live and was relieved that I didn't die. But more than that, it made me, I was super worried. You all have heard me tell the story. I went live and I was terrified about what everybody was going to say. And I went and hid for 2 hours. I went and hid, thinking about all the terrible, horrible things that happened. And none of it did. Okay. There's a story there. There's a story about that. Okay. What else you guys got? What else could make this list? What other stories could I tell here? I could tell, oh, I know what I could tell. On the T-shirt, let me pull it up again here. You can see it. Okay. This little pink circle with the star or the arrow in the middle, that's part of my logo, right? So I could tell my logo branding story. I could tell the story of, why pink is my color. Here's what I'll say. It doesn't have to be directly tied to that. You can come up with, in fact, challenge yourself. How many different story ideas can I come up with from this post? Set a goal. Challenge yourself. Okay, yesterday when I did this, I came up with 10. Today I'm going to come up with 15, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be directly connected, right? Here I am talking about why pink is my color in my branding. You probably want to know that story now, don't you? Has nothing to do with why I didn't die, but it inspired an idea. This is a brainstorming activity, okay? I'm going to check comments here in a minute. I got my hands full, so I can't check comments and hold this. Okay, so now here's what I want you to realize. Each one of these POW bubbles can now be a live video. I can do a live on this. 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 How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. If I go live once a week, that's 6 weeks. If I only want to do this topic once a month, I got 6 months that I can reconnect to this live. And that's off one post. Imagine how often y'all are posting. Or like, I think it was Denise said, how much more you're consuming, right? When you see something like a quote and you're like, oh my gosh, such a good quote. Put the quote in the middle of the POW bubble, brainstorm stories around it. All of these can become lives. See how that works? Okay. Who is blown away by POW bubbles? Like this is the absolute perfect place to do the mind blown emoji. So if you want to drop some mind, do you see what I did there? Emoji and mind blowing. I combined it. A mind. This would be a good place, right? These are awesome. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Hold on. Checking comments. More people want the content pillars. It was really good. It's really good. Okay, you love this idea. I feel like Batman. Pow pow. Yes. Tanya says I need the shirt. I'll get you the link out. We have those. We have tumblers. Oops. I go live and I like it. Okay. I'm on a tangent. Now, for those of you that have said I easily get distracted, you see what I just did there? We'll talk more about that. Okay. Okay. POW is like content pillar strategy too. Yes, they are. Yeah, I mean, could you put a content pillar in the middle of a POW bubble and then go pow 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 around it? Absolutely. Could you think about, okay, here is who I am and what am I an expert in, and POW bubble around it? Yes. POW bubbles is a brainstorming technique. Okay. Content pillars are like the foundation of your social media strategy. It helps drive what the heck do I post and talk about. That's the difference. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Okay. Emmy says, I'm not sure I could do 3 minutes in one of those POW bubbles. Oh, I bet you could. I bet you could. You've got to elaborate more. Okay. If I was just going to say, here, let's get a timer out. Somebody time me. I have my comments up here. I don't have a timer. It's too complicated. Okay. So I know I teased this idea of why pink is my brand color. Okay. So if I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to go hook, story, call to action, which is what you're learning in this challenge. So I'm going to skip all that because you haven't learned it all, right? But the middle part, I'm going to tell a story about why pink is in my brand color. So if I just tell you pink is my brand color because it's my favorite color. Yeah, you're right. You're not going to fill 3 minutes, but that's not a story. Okay. The story is that I was working with a graphic designer, and she said that she gave me a color palette, and this hot pink was on that color palette. And I was like, I'm not a hot pink person. I'm not even a girly person. I was a tomboy growing up. You want pink to be, why pink? And so she helped me understand what the color pink means and what feelings it evokes in people. And as soon as she started telling me that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, pink is my color, 100%. And then to seal the deal, my dog's favorite toy, now it's a boy dog, his name is Otis, it is this color pink. We matched it. We color matched it. It is a porcupine ball. And it is this hot pink, and he loves this. And it always just makes me think that like men can love pink too. So even this whole idea of, yes, I primarily work with women, but men can like pink too. So it's now all inclusive. Okay. See how that was a longer story, Emmy? It requires some planning. It requires thinking about all the details that you want to share, but you are sharing a story. You're taking me on a journey around how did I get pink as my color? Okay. I just started with this one word. And if you just looked at that one word, you'd go, yeah, you can talk for 3 minutes on that. Yeah, you can if there's a story to it. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Christine, boom. I love that comment. I'm seeing some mind blown emojis. Awesome. Hands clapping. I love it. I'm loving it. Okay. Let's see here. Danny says, I'm usually looking a hot mess. I have enough POW bubbles to go live twice a day. I probably have enough POW bubbles to go live 10 times a day, but don't do it. Don't do it. Resist the temptation. Okay. There's a video. We're actually going to do it again next month. So I'm not even going to point you back to a video. I'm going to tell you what week are we doing it? Hold on here. We're going to do it the week of, it's towards the end of August. It's the 22nd of August. We're going to talk a little bit about why you got to get away from all the graphics. And listen, I love Canva. I love Canva, but it's killing you. It's killing you if you're posting all your graphics. Okay. You got to mix it up and you got to have that variety. Okay. We're going to talk more about this in August as well. If you were to take all of the different kinds of posts, from graphics to photos to text to videos to pre-recorded to lives, they all stack out in a ranking system. Okay, live video is at the tippy top, gets the most engagement. But if I go live 2 times a day every day, y'all are going to get bored with it. It's no longer going to be effective. Okay. You got to have mix in there. You got to have all of the different types of posts. Okay. Again, tangent and I'm off on a track. So would I recommend, Danny, that you go live that often? No, 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 no. But your question, that was not your question. Your question was about looking like a hot mess. Okay. So again, I don't recommend going live every single day. It can be exhausting and it's not going to be effective for you. So pick the day that you are going to go live on. I'm going to go live every Tuesday at 2:00. And that's the day you wash your hair. Even if you don't want to wash your hair, here's what's most important. Show up as you. Be yourself. That is more important. The message that you're sharing, how you help people, is going to be way more important than whether or not you're having a good hair day. Okay. Let's see here what else we got. Oh, you guys timed me. This is why you're my people. I love you so much. You're awesome. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Ooh, very good question. I still don't know how to say your name. Will you please tell me how to say your name? Gaurav? Gaurav? Am I close? Okay. I'm going to say Gaurav until you correct me. Maybe I'll just call you G. Is that cool? That's what hip people do. Is that like a hip thing? G. G says, do you mean we have to create the story? Does it matter if it's real or not? Okay, let's be honest here. How many of you are obsessed with a particular show on Hulu, Netflix, Paramount, wherever you watch your shows? Those aren't real stories. They're based on real stories. Your stories don't have to be real either. Okay. Now, if you're talking about a client success story or a client review, those need to be real. You don't make those up. That's just not cool. Okay. But you can elaborate and expand upon your story. This is not a docuseries. It's not going to be fact checked. Remember your intention, and this is really important. Your intention is not to get a Netflix show. Your intention behind telling the story is all the things we talked about before. It's about connecting. It's about helping people remember things. It doesn't have to be a real story. Now, don't tell people it's a real story and then it's not real, but stories do not have to be real. No, they do not have to be real. Okay. Oh, good. I had it right. Now I can't remember what I said. Gaurav. Gaurav? Okay. Anyway, moving on. How do you feel about Pow Bubbles? Yes? You feel like Pow Bubbles, you got this? Do you want to do another example or you feel like you got your hands around this? Okay. Yes? No? Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to make the executive decision. Today's topic prompt is tell us about your entrepreneurial journey. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to Pow Bubble this sucker. Okay? In the middle is my inspiration. Entrepreneurial journey. All right? Got me? And now I'm going to go, this is just for you all who love it. Pow, 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 pow. Pow, 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 pow. These are all story ideas that I could tell based on that inspiration. Okay? Okay, so what are some of the stories that you could tell that are part of your entrepreneurial journey? I'm going to give you some generic ones and then I'll go to the comments. Okay. So it could be my first year in business. Just that. What was my first year in business all about? Maybe it's about inspiring people to, like, your first year is the hardest, right? First year, hardest. Okay. Maybe I want to tell the story about my first client. Right? I took this word first and I went, oh, what other first do I have? My first client, my first group program, whatever it is. Okay. It could be, why did I start this business? Why start this business? Like, why did I choose this particular business I wanted to do? Maybe it could be my journey, right? My story, even about the whole hiding in my bed and how that story started it all. Okay. So pow, 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 pow. Lots of different stories. Again, let's look at this. Am I going to tell all of those stories in one video? No. These are all different videos. I could tell one a month. That way, everybody who's new to my space and my world is hearing a piece of my journey over time. See how that works? Okay, let's see what you guys came up with. Kelly likes my method. I like it too. It's super fun. I mean, and who doesn't like to say pow, 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 pow? Okay, so Jackie says pow bubble for healing modalities. Yes, you're getting it. Yes. I'm glad I'm making y'all laugh. Okay, this is a great idea. There's a couple of people already saying, can we practice this? Can we have an accountability partner? I'm happy to play matchmaker if you need it, right? I'll do a post. If you all want to be matched up so that you can brainstorm this activity, done. Let me make that note. Hold on. I'm going to do it. You'll see a post today where you can say me, and I will give you a match. Match. How bubble. Okay. If I don't write this whole note out, I will not remember what I say. So hold on. Matchmaker to brainstorm pow bubbles. Okay, got it. Done. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Danny's got, you guys are getting it. You see it. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, don't say yes to matchmaking in here. I'll lose you. I'm going to do a separate post as soon as we get off. No, it won't be as soon as because I got a client call. It'll be this afternoon. And just say, I want to match. You'll see it. I promise you'll see it. I'll even put it in the email that goes out tomorrow that recaps everything. You with me? Okay. All right. Did this help? Yes? Okay. One other thing that I want to touch on. Okay. And this gets to, I don't remember whose question it was. Did I write it down? I didn't write it down. What if you got more ideas than you could possibly manage? Because that's going to happen, right? Inspiration is everywhere. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody who says, I just don't have any stories. That's not true. You're just not aware of the stories. Okay. Everyone has stories. And we often sit here and we think, I know, but I'm so boring. I promise you, nobody is as boring as me. I am so boring. But I got stories. The issue is that you're not looking for them. You're not recognizing them as stories. So it's almost like, and I know there's a word for it, and somebody who is live on, I know you're going to give me this word and you're going to drop it. But it's like when you buy a new car. And let's just, for the sake of argument, say you just bought a brand new bright red Jeep Wrangler. And what happens is now you see Wranglers everywhere. There are not more Wranglers. You're just more in tune and looking for them. Somebody's going to have that word, what it is called. One of you is going to pop this up. You think as much as I tell this story, I would remember what it's called. The same is true for your stories. If you're not looking for them, if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm boring, I don't have any stories, you're not going to have any stories. But if you start looking for them, you're going to find them. The pow bubble is a way to brainstorm that. But another suggestion, okay? This is another one of those moments of truth here. How many of you do this? You're on your phone. It's at night. I'm going to give you that it's evening. Maybe you're on the sofa. Maybe you're in bed. I'm not judging. And you're scrolling, right? And you're like, oh, I love this. And you screenshot it so you have it. And you now have 3,000 screenshots in your phone that you haven't looked at since. It's like the screenshot graveyard on your phone. Yeah? You know you've done this. Okay. Because you think, I can do that. I can reuse that as an idea to post something similar. What I want you to start to do is recognize that these are all inspiration for stories. You just got to remember them. Okay. So I want you to get a storybook. I meant to have this and I don't. My storybook is clear over there and I'm not going to get up and get it. So just any kind of notebook. Those of you that are obsessed with office supplies like I am, there's a really good reason to go buy a new journal. I'm just saying. Go buy a new journal. Make it something that stands out. Make it something that you love. And make this be your social media, story, live, inspiration idea book. And anytime that happens, instead of screenshotting it and saving it here, jot it down in your notebook. Even if it's a Post-it note that you stick in your storybook. Because here's what's going to happen. When you go to Pow Bubble one time, you're going to be like, oh, can't think of a story. Can't think of anything. I want you to go to your book and just start going through it. You might not find the exact story, but you're going to find stories that are going to make you go like, oh, you know what? I could tell this one. Or to Garev's point, I might find something in here and be like, okay, that doesn't quite fit, but I could tell the story a little bit differently and that would work. When you need inspiration, you now have it if you have a little storybook. Okay. Mine is the Starry Night, Vincent Van Gogh's Starry Night. That's the cover, which is my favorite painting of all time. And so it's very special to me. And that's where all of my really cool ideas go. Okay. So get yourself one of those storybooks of whatever kind. And that's where you put every single idea you have, whether it's for social media or live or anything. Okay. I'm going to go to comments here next, but I want to say this. Those of you who are VIPs in the challenge, you have an extra video today that is on storytelling basics. It'll be a really good one to watch to help you figure out how do I put my story together. Okay. I will also say for those of you that are going to join us in the Go Live League membership at the end of this challenge, we have 2 full masterclasses just on storytelling. So for those of you that are like, I don't know, my storytelling needs a little bit of spit and polish, you got options. You got options, okay? And you can still join the VIP upgrade for $27. So this is VIP. I should have put VIP there. Hold on, let me change it. Look at how we can do this right on the fly. Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. You can join VIP. I got 5 spots left at $27 if you want that extra video. You also get a whole bunch of extra stuff. I'm not going to go into it here. If you got questions, message me and I'll tell you about it. Okay? Okay. Questions on day 2 around telling a story. And then I'm going to wrap us up and then I'll take questions that you have on absolutely anything else. So this right here is just, are there any questions you have on how you figure out topics for lives, how you figure out story ideas for lives, how you stretch your time from little bit to long? Any questions on that? I'm going to check comments here quick. Okay. Uh-oh, I've inspired a bunch of you to get journals. I love it. I love it. Office supplies are so fun. Okay. Emmy, I love you. Emmy says, how can you be boring? You have so much energy. 2 very different things. Okay. But I think your point is right on. I can have what I feel is a boring life. I don't do very much. Okay. But I can find stories and I can bring them to life and I can share my energy. Very different from the other. Okay. You don't have to have this lifestyle where you're jet setting and in private jets and traveling the world and all over. I just got boring everyday life. I tell boring everyday stories. Here's another thing I'm going to give you. One of the best TV shows of all time, and I will argue with you on this point, is Seinfeld. It is a phenomenal show, and it is about nothing. It is about absolutely nothing. That's the whole point of this very successful TV show. You don't have to have a boring life. You have to look at what's going on in your life and tell stories about it and connect those stories into your business. By the way, those of you that are in VIP, the next video that you get, the next extra video you get next week is how to take random objects like markers and tie them into your business. Oh my gosh. Then the idea, then it just goes because now you're not looking for stories that are about your business. You're looking for random things that you then connect into your business. Oh my gosh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it so much. Okay. I know that wasn't necessarily your question or a real question, Emmy, but thanks for sharing that because I think that was an important tip to share. Okay. You guys are loving this. Okay, Denise says brand awareness. I think you're going back to the whole Jeep thing. No, yes, it is. But there's an actual phenomenon. There's a word for the phenomenon when you focus on something and then you see it everywhere. And I cannot think of what that's called. I'll look it up because it'll bug me now. Okay. More people are buying journals. Love it. Okay. Farhana says, I get inspired and then I dismiss the inspiration because I think nobody cares. How do you overcome that? Okay. That is that little voice in your head, also known as imposter syndrome. Okay. That is trying to keep you safe and small. And there's all sorts of research of where that comes from. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need that voice in your head anymore. You can actually get rid of it. When I first heard that, when somebody actually told me that you could get rid of the voice in your head, I was like, you clearly don't know how loud the voice is in my head. But I have successfully quieted that voice in my head and I don't listen to it. I only tune into it when I need it. So when that voice in your head is telling you all of this, you don't need to listen to it. Okay? So this whole idea of nobody else is going to be interested in my stuff is hooey. It's hooey. Here's the deal. When you finally realize that if you stop worrying about everybody else and you start just being who you are, you're going to attract. I have this little magnet. It's perfect time to pull out my magnet. Okay. Social media, whether it's a live or a post or anything, is about being a magnet. And when you are a magnet, it does two things. It attracts and it repels. It's going to do both. You need it to do both. So the whole point is, I'll give you a real world example. I know I'm not for everybody. I know you all like me. You all think I'm awesome, but there are a lot of people who are like, she's too loud for me. She's too what for me, whatever it is. Okay. I repel those people. It's supposed to work that way. I'm not supposed to change who I am. I'm not supposed to dim my light or sink back in small or not be me and not share my stories because I'm afraid that I might repel somebody who's not even my person anyway. Instead, what you have to be is you, authentically you in all places. And when you are you and you show up that way, man, the magnet attraction part works so much better because people then say, I love her. She's awesome. I want to binge watch her stuff. And you attract more and more and more of them and you repel the people who don't want you anyway. You don't need them. There's plenty of people out there. Okay. So I know that was more theory than it was an actual answer. So if I were to just straight say, what do you do when you think nobody cares? It could be that you're not tying your story into a point. I'm going to touch on that here as I close out this video. Okay. So hang on to that thought and more to come on that. Okay. But I guess the question you really have to ask yourself, Farhana, is this: how much truth is there to that answer? Do I know for a fact that people aren't interested in my stories, or do I just think they're not? Because here's the deal. You won't know till you try. You won't know till you try. And what if you try and it becomes this great big client attraction magnet and you get all these new followers because you were willing to go there and share your truth? That's what matters. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Danny says, tell it anyway, even if it relates to one person, you made a difference to them. Exactly. Boom. That's that whole starfish story, right? If you don't know the starfish story, ask me sometime and I'll tell you. Okay. La, 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 la. I just love it that you guys are more people buying journals because you need another reason to buy a journal, right? Okay. Oh, thank you guys for supporting VIP. You guys are so awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Christine says, should you tell a story every time you go live? Why wouldn't you? Why not? The whole point of this model, hook, story, call to action, is saying if you want a compelling, captivating live, you got to tell stories. So I say, why not? Okay, let's see here. Danny says, boring is relatable to everybody. Yeah, guess what? You think you're boring? Everybody else is boring too. It's exactly right. Let me see if I'm missing any questions. Inez, that might be it. Phenomenon. I'm gonna have to Google it. I thought it was something simpler than that. Thank you all for trying to help me out. You guys are so great. Okay. Rachel F, we got several Rachels in here. Your frequency and your match will come. Yes, you vibrate as much as weird as you are, you vibrate like you, and it'll attract all the right people. The people who are weird about the same things you are. Yes. Yes. Oh, I made this magnet. This is the letter U from Hobby Lobby that I've painted into a magnet. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions on tell a story. Man, look at how much time we've gone through. But I have two bonus tips and then we'll wrap up. Okay. It's just one bonus. Sorry. Stories with drama sell better. Okay. Think about that. You've all watched shows that you don't like and you don't watch them anymore because the story wasn't compelling enough to keep you watching. Okay, the same thing is true with lives. I imagine that there are people that you have watched their videos on Facebook and you're like, that was awful and boring. Okay, so stories with drama are better. What am I talking about with drama? Cliffhangers, suspense, struggles. Okay, because we want to root for it. We root for the underdog. We want to see a struggle overcome, a challenge faced and met. So the more stories, the more of that you can pull in your stories, the better. Okay. So let's go back to let's do this. If I go back to my POW bubble on my shirt, okay, which of these stories, if I'm picking, which of these stories do I tell? I might look for one that has some sort of drama in it, some sort of obstacle faced and overcome that will make it more compelling. Or I can look at some of this and say, is there a dramatic part of this story that I could have added? Well, I kind of did, right? Because I told you all, she sent me this color palette and it was pink. And I was like, pink's not my color. So all of you, as I was telling that story, you probably went, oh no, pink's not her color. There was some drama in that. I didn't even plan it. And there was drama in it. Okay. So see how you can incorporate that. Okay. Your homework, 47 minutes later. Okay. You're going to go live. 3 minutes is your goal. If you can't hit 3 minutes, I don't want you to stress over it. I just want you to try to go longer than you went before. And I want you to tell a story in your live video. Okay. That's your goal. Hashtag day 2 in the description so I can give you credit on my tracker, because everybody who goes live all 4 times, you win prizes. Woo! Okay. The topic prompt is, tell us a story about your entrepreneurial journey. Remember, we brainstormed this. Do POW bubbles. In fact, if you want to snap a picture of your POW bubbles and post it in the group, I'll create a post for you to do that too. Boy, we got all sorts of posts today. Post. Okay. Share. Okay. I just wrote share PB. And you know what's going to happen is an hour from now, I'm going to see that and be like, why am I sharing peanut butter? It's just going to be a whole thing. Okay. So I want to know from you before we wrap up, what story are you going to tell today? Have you already got one? Have you already kind of thought through your POW bubble and thought, you know what I can tell? This is the story I'm going to tell. Drop it in the comments. Tell me which story you're going to tell. We'll hold you accountable. We'll give you feedback if you want. What story are you going to tell? I'd love to see it. Okay. Finally, I'm going to wrap this up and I will stay on for a little bit and answer questions. I do have a client call here at the top of the hour, so it'll be a short Q&A, but I will be here nonetheless. Next week, I'll have more time to do Q&A if you guys have it. Okay. For those of you that are wondering, but Jamie, how do I start and end my video? That is what next week is all about. Next week, we will talk about Tuesday. We will talk about starting with a hook. And Thursday, we will talking about end with a call to action. So you're going to get that throughout this challenge. So don't worry about it today. Just worry about telling me a story. Okay. Your stories connect. That was the biggest thing I heard from you all in the beginning. There are connection points. They help us remember, right? Retention is a big thing. We talked about branding even when we talked about Jeeps and pink, right? Stories connect us. They connect us. They connect us to the stories. They help us understand. They are super, super powerful. Okay. Farana, I told you this was going to come back up. Here it is. Here's the big finale. Every story should have a point, and every point should have a story. And I don't know who said that. It's a famous quote. I don't even know if it's been linked to somebody. Somebody other than me said that. But the goal here is you're not just telling a story to tell a story. You're telling a story because it is intentional and it is leading people to something. Now, here's a hint. It's going to lead to the call to action. You're going to learn more about that next week. Okay. And then back to Christine's question about should every live have a story? Yes. Because the power of that story is what makes your videos compelling. It's what makes people want to binge watch your videos because of the stories that you tell, even if they're boring. All right. Thank you all for staying on with me so long today. I will take any questions that you might have. For those of you that need to go, thank you for being here. See you next week. Do not lose sight of the fact that this challenge continues into next week. And now we'll take any other questions that you guys have. Thank you all for being here. Okay. Okay. 2 questions that were from earlier. I'm going to at least get to these here in the next few minutes. Danny asked, where do you start? And I think this was, I got all sorts of ideas, right? Where do I start? how do I even begin to like shift through all of the different ideas? I'm a big proponent of having content pillars. We talked about that earlier. And when you have content pillars, it allows you to have focus for a period of time. So what I teach my clients is to have focus for at least the whole week. Maybe you have focus for the whole month, and then this is the theme for the whole month. So next month, we in this Get on Camera group, we are going to be focused on Facebook. We're going to talk about Facebook personal profiles and Facebook groups all of next month. So it is the theme, if you will. So now when I'm coming up with my things that I want to talk about, which are the stories I want to tell that help me drive whatever it is that I am promoting inside of that particular month. So connect the what am I talking with what am I selling? Hope that helps. And if your question was something other than that, Danny, then let me know. Okay, somebody else asked, and I didn't write down the name. What if your story is like super, super, super long? Or your lives become super, super, super long? And there's really a couple of pieces in here, right? One, you've got to plan your story. Because this is not sitting around the table at dinner telling your story and you're going through, and then this happened, 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 and this happened. That's great with your friends and family. But in a live, that's not the goal. The story is a tool. The story is not the point. So you don't need to tell the whole long story. You pick the pieces of the story that allow you to make the point you're trying to make in your video. So that means you have to have a plan. You have to know where you're headed, know what your intention is, and then tell the parts of the story that allow you to achieve that. Hope that helps. Now, for those of you that are like, yeah, but see, the problem is I go pow, 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 pow with my storytelling. I call those tangents. Yes, and it happens to me as well. If I do not plan my videos, that is me. I am all over the place. My mind goes 3,000 different directions, right? It is not linear. I interrupt myself. I stop mid-sentence. It's not good, okay? So what I have to do is I have to plan out bit by bit by bit of what I am covering. Hold on, my alarm's going off, okay? So that I follow an order. Otherwise, I'm all over the place. Now, those of you that are in VIP, you are going to learn my Post-it note model. That's the 4th video that you get next week on how I map all of that out. So like, let me show you an example. Mine is taped up there, so I don't want to pull it down. But like, here's day 4. So these are my notes so that I know what I'm covering and what I'm talking about as I go through it. Okay, so VIPs, you're gonna learn how to do this. When it comes to storytelling, you don't need to tell all of the stories. Gaurav asked, does it have to be real? No, it doesn't have to be real, but it also doesn't need to be all of the details. You have to talk about the details that help you achieve your point. So what helps for me is I'll take Post-it notes and I will map out all my POWs on all my stories. Boo, 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 all the things. I might have 100 Post-it notes of everything that went on. And then I say, which of these makes sense for the story that I want to tell in this video that allow me to accomplish my point. Okay. Now, last thing I want to touch on here on this whole being concise is the tangents are not bad. Okay. I don't know why I'm still on this. Where was I at here? Okay. Tangents are not a bad thing. Tangents are almost like a sign from the universe, like an idea that you're supposed to talk about something because somebody needs to hear it. I believe that. Okay. The challenge is when they become distracting. So as hard as this may be to hear for some of you, is you are in charge of your brain and your mouth. You get to decide what you talk about and what you don't. And I know what you're thinking. Some of you are like, that's not true. I've been there. I know. Okay. So awareness is half of the problem or half the answer, halfway there, whatever that saying is. Once you know that you do this, now you can be aware that you do it and then you can stop it. So I'm going to give you an analogy here. I want you to imagine a road trip, car road trip. You're in the car, you got the kids, the spouse, dogs, cats, grandma, whoever, everybody's piled in the car. Okay. And you're going on a road trip. You're on an interstate, highway, speedway, depending on what country you're in. I know y'all call it different things. Okay. And we need a break. We need a pit stop. So we're going to take the exit ramp. We're going to get off the highway And we are hoping that at the end of that exit ramp is the petrol station, gas station, convenience store. Again, everybody calls it something different at the end, right? What you do not want is you get down off that exit ramp and the sign says 20 miles that way, right? Because then what do? No, I'm not going 20 miles that way for a Snickers bar. It's not happening, right? The same thing applies to your tangents. So you got to catch yourself doing it. Now that you know that you do it, you got to catch yourself and you have to think to yourself, okay, I'm going to get off, do my business, get right back on my plan. It's okay to take a tangent if it's short and sweet. But if it's going to take you and your audience 20 miles that way, you've now lost attention. You've now become a distraction. Okay, so there's a couple things you can do. You heard me say it today. You can either say, okay, I'm going off on a tangent. Do I want to go here? Like literally say those words. Yes, I do. Short and sweet. Cover it, get back on track. Or you can say, no way I can do this short and sweet, and we don't have time for me to be distracted. So I'm going to write a note. Hang on. I'm going to take a note and I'll cover this in a separate video. And literally write it down for yourself. Stick it over here. I got Post-it notes everywhere of different story ideas I have. You control it. Okay. The other way that this becomes a distraction is when this happens. Okay. So again, we're on a road trip. We pull over. Everybody gets out, does their business. Time to go. Everybody gets back on the bus. We get back on the interstate. We've gone 1 mile. And someone says, I forgot to go to the bathroom. I got to go. And you're like, oh, for the love of. So we get off again so that Ding Dong can go to the bathroom, right? If you stop at every exit, you're never going to get to your destination. So if you are tangent, people stop to remember, like, what is this video even about? She's all over the place. You have to control that, and you have to be focused, and you have to just not allow yourself or your audience to be distracted. Okay, so does that help? I know that wasn't necessarily the question, but it inspired a tangent to talk about tangents. Okay. Let me see what other questions you got here. Okay, let's see here. Hold on, hang on here. Hold on here. I'm looking for questions versus comments because I can get distracted by the comments. Oh my gosh, some of these ideas you have that you're going to tell in your stories, I love them, but I'm trying not to be distracted here. Okay. Lucy says Spark starts tomorrow. Yes, it does. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay. We will do another Spark. When am I doing another Spark? I think it's September, October. So Spark is a 6-week group coaching program where we focus on social media strategy, figuring out strategy. So I've got 2 group coaching actually I've got 3. 2 group coaching programs. Spark is all about social media. How do you figure out what to talk about on your social media so that it makes sense and you stop throwing spaghetti at the wall? Okay, that's Spark. We start tomorrow. There was pre-work. If anybody is like, please let me in, message me. As long as you can do the pre-work before tomorrow at 10, I'll let you in. But I don't want you to be behind if you can't get the pre-work done. Catch us next time, okay? The other one is Ignite. Ignite is 12 weeks. Ignite is Ignite your Facebook group. So it is all about how do you have a Facebook group that is growing and selling and engaged and all of that kind of stuff. So 2 separate programs. Okay. I know you didn't ask that, but it made me think of it anyway. Okay. Lots of questions about Spark. Now you know. Okay. You love my analogy on tangents. It's a good one. Everyone can relate to the road trip. Okay, everybody's got to go. And so do I. All right. If you have other questions that you want me to cover next week on the live, or if you want me to do a separate video on it, ask. There are questions. Drop your question here. Post every single day, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm an open book. I'll share whatever you want. So ask me. Let me know. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for staying on for the extra questions. And I will see you next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Bye, everybody. Bye.